Welcome to Instant Discussions, episode 17, Trailer Park Boys, the movie.
Yep.
Cody's brilliant pick.
My brilliant pick.
Before we get started talking about this, I wanted to make a note. So you had said last week that this movie is available until 2099.
Yes.
Now, I was looking up movies to pick for the next week and noticed, hey, this movie's available in 2099. And then I decided that was a little odd, so I would research that. And I researched it, and Netflix is no longer providing expiration date data to third-party websites. And they default all of them now as actually June 1st, 2100 as the date it will expire.
Oh.
So if you go to Instant Watcher, it's no longer useful now at all.
So
I mean, it'll tell you what things are on Netflix. It's still a good website to show what things are new. It'll show with what just came on there.
Yeah.
But as far as expiring,
That's
we're just guessing at all of these, and we're gonna hope that these movies aren't gonna be pulled, because even Netflix said when all that Warner stuff got pulled, I think a lot of that stuff wasn't set to expire on the contracts. It's just they pulled it because Warner said we're gonna start our own online streaming service. We're gonna do our own. So,
But if it's through a third party, they've got no liability there, right?
For
Netflix, you said this was going to expire.
yeah, no, they don't have any liability for it, but I think that they're upset with it because if people are pulling out
That's silly.
on their contracts, Netflix is upset. So they can't really anticipate when things are going to expire now.
I'd rather have some idea.
I would like to have some. They said that they're still going to provide it on the individual movies page, so that you can still see the expiration date. But I can't find it.
Yeah, I know.
I thought they said they stopped showing it on.
Yeah,
they did. They did a while ago.
There was a new.
I thought maybe you were talking on the internet or something.
There's a new post that was posted. Yeah. So anyway, we'll just hope that they stay on there. But for now, you can watch Trailer Park Boys the movie.
Excellent choice.
So
Okay, so this is based on a series, Canadian, one of their number one comedies. It's supposed to be a mockumentary type thing, Office, I guess, closest thing.
Yeah.
And while I was watching it, I was kind of realizing. Oh yeah.
Shut off that fan. Just realize that a fan.
There you go.
It becomes part of the white noise in the background. So, yeah.
We suddenly sound a lot better.
Yep.
So while I was watching this, I was realizing that if you haven't watched a series, you're not going to get a lot of the jokes. So I was kind of laughing while watching it, knowing that you guys are like, "What is this? This isn't that funny."
Knowing that you were partly torturing us because we didn't.
Well, because I remember watching it and laughing, but then watching it this time, I'm like, okay, they're talking about this that happened and that didn't happen. Like when they're talking about his shirt, changing his shirt. That's the first time he's changed his shirt within the whole series after 7 seasons. That was funny, but you guys wouldn't have known that.
Okay.
I like it because I don't know, I really like the main three characters. Bubbles is just, I think, hilarious.
I think Mike Furr was really good in this movie.
Yeah, Mike Furr was really good. Throughout the whole thing, part of it was so laughing.
I wanted to invite him on too.
I know.
We know a guy that looks identical to one of the characters in this movie, and is the same character.
Bubbles?
No, this guy here.
Oh, I love he's he's such a douchebag, but not too much of a douche.
He's just his personality, everything just seemed like him.
I don't know about personality for me, but he looked.
His manner of speaking, his way of speaking. Too.
Yeah, the way of
speaking.
speaking.
That's
okay.
That's the same. It's the same thing. I kept looking it up in the credits. I'm like, does he have his?
There were about a dozen times where I was just all oh man, Mike Furr.
To us, we had another level of this.
Sorry, Mike Furr.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, no,
but it was it looked like he was the same guy. But
so you guys never sing the series. What did you guys just?
And also the other guy
from the movie.
So it was a comedy. There was Mike Furr as one of the guys, and there was Dante Hicks from Clerks, and then there was guy
Bill
from Office.
Dotree?
Bill
the guy from Office.
Yes.
When I first saw the series, I was like, "Is that him?" Because the first couple ones are kind of grainy.
Yeah,
and
he wouldn't do that now. He's doing other things. Yeah. Milton.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this was made for $5 million. Only $5 million.
That's it? I would have thought 200 million.
Yeah, for a movie set in a trailer park that they already had the stuff for because of the TV series. But it raked in over $3.8 million.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
they almost made $1 million short of their budget. I mean, so I can tell how this is a really popular series, and yeah, they're doing really well.
Released just in time for Halloween.
Yeah.
It was perfect in 2006.
It's gained lots of momentum since 2006 when this movie came out. Now it's only 7 years old. It was part of the big Canadian boom of the mid 2000s.
Well, they're known for their comedies, right?
Yes.
Canadians.
Yep.
I mean, there's Jim Carrey.
Well, it had kind of raised the awareness for them right after. They were right on the heels of The Kids in the Halls from the 90s, which was, of course, playing off of SCTV. So there's just a string of comedy hits out of Canada. I mean, we already know 3
Terrence
shows.
and Phillip.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
You know?
Yeah.
The genius of Terrence and Phillip.
Yeah. I think the thing is most of the Canadian comedians come over here to America and then do all their stuff here. And
I think there's more
Then
money
they go back to
here,
Canada.
That's why.
No. They've escaped Canada. I think even Bieber's not even going back to Canada anymore. Like it's interesting. Canada seems like a nice place, but the stuff that's still contained within Canada, I don't know. It's a little weird. It doesn't really. It's tough for a lot of stuff to break out as a huge Canadian star. I think you get this so much going on in Hollywood, and they're on the same continent. They can get to either New York or Hollywood from wherever they're at, and they usually go there and do it. So. Now.
I didn't even know this was Canadian watching it.
There was actually one time when I did laugh out loud in the movie, and I forgot the exact point in there.
There was one time where I chuckled out loud.
Yeah,
but I can't remember what it is.
But I don't necessarily look at comedies to laugh out loud the whole time. I can still be entertained by them if I'm not laughing out loud. I love it when I'm laughing out loud. That's great. But if I'm still entertained by it, then that's good. It's the same way like with horror films. I don't need to be scared by the horror films. If it's got an interesting plot that I can follow,
This actually had a plot, sort of.
Yeah, the alternate title for the movie
at least sort of kept my interest. I wasn't completely bored.
It said the alternate title for the movie, and I'm sure it played in Canada because they already know the Trailer Park Boys and that stuff. It was called The Big Dirty, and that's a good name for the movie. If you didn't call this Trailer Park Boys the movie, it's
The Big Dirty.
The Big Dirty. If you just call it The Big Dirty and have it standing alone and not even needing the series behind it, I think that
probably would have been a better title actually.
Yeah,
The Big Dirty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe The Big Dirty was like it doesn't say here, but I
Is
would
that
use
a
that
movie
like the
that's
international
already
title. I don't know, but that sounds good. Just seeing these like misfit group of people taking on their big change bust.
I wanted them to make such a bigger thing out of that too.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Of which one? What part?
Of like their
the big scheme.
Their heists. And particularly like the big one at the end. I don't know. I wish that they
had a few things in the
like just over dramatized it. Like
they kind of shows you in that first when it first starts.
It's
up,
still good though.
Yeah, they show them taking down the ATM machine.
Yeah,
ATM machine, not machine, but machine.
Mm-hmm.
And all the crazy stuff that goes with that. But you get the sense in that one that they've done this a few times before. So is that something in the series that they?
Yeah, during the whole series, they're trying to basically steal or grow drugs.
Yeah, he's got his
just the easiest way to come
business.
up and do the little work.
Yeah, they do the minimal amount of work that they need to do to live in that trailer park. So they don't need to get much money. So stealing small change isn't that does it for them.
There is no movie called The Big Dirty.
There isn't. So I mean, no, they've got the title for it. But what I'm thinking is, their alternate titles of movies happen a lot overseas, especially when people don't know what it's about. Like maybe if they're playing this movie in China and they don't know what a trailer park is.
Yeah.
So Trailer Park Boys doesn't do anything for them, so just call it The Big Dirty would be the title for that.
Didn't do too well in China though.
And Trailer Park Boys, the movie, is the other name for it. So or just Trailer Park Boys because they don't have the TV series. So if you don't have the TV series, you don't need that. I remember Weird Al was talking about with the movie UHF when that was overseas. They don't have UHF frequency stations over there. Now they don't have it at all, so they were just going to call it the Vidiot. But then they ended up calling it the Vidiot from UHF, and that doesn't help anything at all. You're just using the same thing. It's like, oh, they don't know what Trailer Park Boys are, so we're going to call it Trailer Park Boys, the movie, The Big Dirty. Like, that doesn't help anything at all.
Yeah.
Say the Big Dirty,
or even with,
pretend it's something new, and then let them figure out that it's from another series.
The Haunted Mansion attraction in Disneyland, when it's over in China, they revere the dead. They don't have the fear of the dead for the ghosts. So they have it called Mystic Manor over there. It's good. That's everything. So that's why you see different names. But I think, the Big Dirty would have been a great name for this one. It doesn't have to rely on that. And maybe it would have done a little more if you don't have the... Because, I remember they would run Kids in the Hall and SCTV. We'd get those things over here. But Trailer Park Boys, I've only heard about it on Netflix. I don't know, did it play on like PBS or anything?
No, it didn't play anywhere here.
Yeah, so if it doesn't play anywhere, then you're saying Trailer Park Boys the movie, which I'm not even sure was in theaters in America. I don't know.
No, I don't think in America.
Trailer Park Boys was the highest grossing movie in Canada.
Are you serious?
What?
For its first weekend, not of all time, of that opening weekend.
Because it was highly anticipated.
Yeah, when it opened, it grossed $1.3 million in the box office. So Trailer Park Boys' opening box office was number one in the weekend, $1.3 million. Iron Man 3 in America made $170 million in its opening weekend. Just a point of comparison between the two highest grossing films.
That's like 1956 numbers right there. 1.3 million.
Well,
That's 2006.
What's current though? Because that is a while. That is like now getting a while.
insane.
That's like 7 years.
7 years. So 1.3 million.
That could increase.
1.3.
That just
It's
shows
not
how.
Grossing.
Do Canadians go to movies?
Apparently the first weekend, and then they just don't care.
Films of all time.
It was the 11th. All right, in all of North America, it was the 11th highest grossing film. So
I'm pretty sure
that's where it
Citizen
puts you
Kane
there.
made
I
more
guess
money.
just in Canada, they were like, yes, this
Yeah.
Trailer Park Boys movie, and it's good stuff. So okay. All of that aside, why we hadn't heard about this movie except for on Netflix recommendations?
How did you hear about this, Tony?
Well, because it recommended
On
it.
Netflix.
Yeah, give me like a 4.5.
Oh, so you just
That
discovered
was the same
this?
thing with me.
Yeah.
It kept recommending this one to me, but
Yeah.
I was having trouble getting into it because it's this whole thing built up with that, and you have to get into the series. So I never watched the series yet, but I think that's a great thing about Netflix Instant Watch when promoting things like this. Like,
There's tons of things I would have
documentaries.
never even thought about looking up on Netflix, except for the suggestions, which I'm happy for.
But some of the other ones that we talk about are like they're big hits. They're not big hits. They're small things that just have a life on Netflix. But it's crazy how huge of a thing this is in Canada, apparently, and we know nothing about it. So if it makes that big, usually they'll do like a port of it over here. Get something. I mean, with British television, we get that a lot. If there's a huge hit over there, it's either going to be showing on BBC America, or then they try to make their own of it. When Sherlock was popular, they made an American Sherlock show. They did the Office American show. They tried to do the IT crowd.
But the thing is like that came. I think like Matt mainly came about because there were so many actors that were coming over like that were really really highly regarded from Europe.
Yeah. But you get it, with The Office, it's just that concept of the show was popular, and they poured it over and made the American one.
They copied the first episode.
Yeah, I think that was a
for word.
smart
Yeah.
thing. They're just trying to, this is the flow, and then they branch off.
Yeah.
From that. But I haven't seen that with Trailer Park Boys. They didn't make an American Trailer Park Boys.
No, they should.
No,
apparently.
they shouldn't. But it's like, It's kind of like I look at this more like Kids in the Hall, which is a comedy group type thing, where it relies on the people that's in it. Like you can't if you make an American version of Kids in the Hall, it's just Saturday Night Live. But this one is you take those people over and just have them, or at least showing their show in America. But it's interesting seeing this evolve like this. So we hadn't seen it before. We haven't seen anything about the Trailer Park Boys, but I think. I wouldn't have gotten the jokes that you were saying with the changing the shirt thing, but some of it you pick up on their characters really quickly, really easily. They did a good job of, I think, setting up who these people are.
That's the main thing I like. I like the characters. I like the main three characters.
The chase scene in the beginning.
Oh yeah,
I love that one. I thought that was funny with the they almost got away with it. So close.
And I just like, and to me it's just so funny, like the fact that he wants to stay in prison, so he can play this stupid
Yeah.
hockey game.
Yeah.
At that point, you should have known it was Canadian.
Well, yeah, as soon as they're playing hockey, and when I saw hockey in prison, I'm like, that would not happen.
Uh-huh.
No. Imagine a Canadian going to an American prison, just trying to start it up. He died. So sad.
Well, they wouldn't give Americans sticks like that. Like, there's no way.
Yeah, so it's a very polite Canadian prison there.
Yeah.
It's interesting. But they've been to prison a bunch of times before. It's interesting.
And you know, I really do think that, especially the main three, I think they're like really good actors though.
I think they're at least great at the roles that they're doing.
For
Now I'd have to
roles,
see them in other things to see what they're. What
but
else
the roles
they
that
do,
they
but-
play, I thought they did very well, and they kept with it. And I mean, it's kind of, I guess, for Bubbles, it's kind of, it's just his little shtick type thing.
Yeah.
But the other two, I mean, I just like their characters, and I like the way they portrayed them.
Yeah, but you get great humanity with Bubbles because you've got that very simple but kind person, and when the police when the guy who's running the trailer park or is in charge of that, when he's coming down on the other guys, especially the guy living in his car there, when he's coming down on them, you're like, okay, they're not that great of people, so whatever. But when he's coming down on Bubbles, that's when you really feel for them. He's like that emotional core to it.
I thought that guy was just gonna Hulk out. At that moment, just start like going crazy
with the nunchucks. He was getting close to it,
And
but
then-
I was expecting him to kill him. Like,
And then it didn't.
You messed with my kitties.
yeah,
And it was for the cats,
Yeah.
not because he knocked down the house.
Yeah.
It's because of the cats.
Yeah.
but they said he was born and raised in that shack. So sad.
Yeah. It's pretty messed up.
Yeah.
I like the main guy the best. So.
So which
Fur.
one? Mike Fur.
Yeah.
What's his name in this? Rick was one of the. Is it
Ricky?
Ricky?
Yeah.
That's
Ricky,
right.
Julian, and Bubbles.
Ricky, Julian, and Bubbles. All right. Julian is the Dante Hicks looking character. So, yeah, but the poster puts Bubbles on the front of it. Which is smart because he's got him and a kitty, and it's the most he's the weirdest looking guy with the glasses, so it just pops out.
That is interesting. I wonder what kind of marketing reason that is, because maybe Canadians like the Office Space or something.
Yeah.
Or kitties. Well, everyone loves
Kitties is definitely good to put on the
it's
cover there.
It just
Yeah,
works.
they're such cute little kittens.
Freaking cats, man.
Which is interesting because I didn't see any adult cats in there. I just saw little kittens. So do they run away? Does they get eat? What happens to the adult cats?
He strangles.
If he's been there for all of his life living with these cats, and there's no adult cats. They're all kittens.
Sometimes you just gotta let the cats go.
I was wondering about how
Like a baby bird when you let them fly.
just let the kitties fly. Yeah.
Coyotes.
Yeah. I don't know what kind of what's going on out there.
Probably coyotes.
Yeah.
It's a trailer
Are
park.
there coyotes in Canada though?
I don't know what's in Canada.
Probably.
I think they just have bears that run around.
So this
They
was
got coyotes.
this is executive produced by Ivan Reitman.
Who's that?
Ivan Reitman is director of films like
Did I just see Bill Murray?
yeah. Well, these are the actors who are in his film. So he's directed Meatballs, Stripes, Ghostbusters, Twins, Ghostbusters 2, Kindergarten Cop,
Oh, Stripes.
Dave Jr., Space Jam, the amazing Space Jam, Evolution, No Strings Attached. So
That
he's
song's
done
pretty catchy.
He's done some pretty non-solid films, but I mean, come on, Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
He did Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Um,
I like Stripes too.
Yeah, there's some good
Oh, my
stuff in
super
there.
ex-girlfriend was horrible.
So he's done some horrible
He's done
stuff.
Road Trip.
Hitchcock too. I wasn't too big on that.
Yeah, Road Trip, pretty bad. He just produced that one. But what I'm saying with this is, the aforementioned Kids in the Hall was produced by Lorne Michaels of SNL.
Oh, I don't know that.
Yeah, he
right.
produced that show, so that's what got it going with that. So what happens is you get someone big in the comedy world that is big in America to come over and work with these, and they've got ties to Canada anyway, and so something like the Trailer Park Boys movie wouldn't even get that movie if it wasn't for Ivan Reitman helping produce that. It might have only made $500,000, but you've got the star power of Ivan Reitman. I noticed that name as it popped up right on there when you see something like that. It's like Ghostbusters, come on. Ghostbusters.
He's a handsome fella.
But yeah, I the thing is, I think of him so strongly with Ghostbusters that I forget that that's really he hasn't had a lot of.
Ever done.
Yeah, I'm like he's great. He did Ghostbusters. Like,
Ghostbusters is a good film.
It was a good film.
I like those movies.
Talk about that one.
Yeah, let's talk about that one, you guys.
I'm looking up his son now, seeing what he's done. He did his son Jason Reitman and Thank You for Smoking, The Office, Juno.
The son's much more successful.
Nowadays, he still has a few like not as great ones. He did Jennifer's Body, but Up in the Air, which has look at the crazy
That's a good
awards
movie.
thing. I know it's
I have that.
I know. I've got it too. I still haven't seen it.
Really? Wow.
I didn't watch that. It's on my list. So many movies.
I'm
But that's just the producers. So this was, but it was directed by one of the stars of the film, Mike Clattenburg.
Is that Mike Furr or no? That's
No,
not Mike
or
Furr.
he's not in the. No, he's not in the film. He's one of the writers, I guess. Never mind. I thought it was one of the. That it was directed by one of the. Where did I get there? Oh, it's because the writer. Yeah, the writer was Rob Wells, Mike Furr.
Oh, okay.
That's it. One of the writers was him. Which is kind of strange. Him and the director get credit for writing it. So it seems like this isn't one of those films where or one of those acting groups where the three main actors kind of ride along with it. Because stuff like The Office or things like that, they I think also that like the movies like Spinal Tap and all those, they're kind of written by the actors in it because it's kind of improvised with that. Yeah. But you only have one of them credited here. So do you know anything about that? If it's any
No,
of
as far as the
improv stuff,
series,
just
like,
it's just scripted stuff that they're
that I'm not
backing
sure of.
out. Is that? It seems like with those kind of mockumentary style films like this, where it's shot in that kind of way, that it's a lot of improvised stuff.
Wow, a 55% rating.
Yeah, 55% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's pretty good.
That's better than half.
It's better than Claude Atlee Scott.
Yeah, one of the things I was going to say with Rotten Tomatoes, it keeps bringing up is every time I look at the Rotten Tomato score, or hear the Rotten Tomato score for something, it's an all right gauge of stuff, but it also doesn't tell you how much people liked it. It just says what percentage of people thought it was better than it was bad.
Oh, that's interesting.
So if you make a movie that everyone agrees is not bad, it'll get 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. It could, if everyone agrees it's not bad.
It makes it a bad rating system.
It suddenly does at that point, but it has other works. But you kind of want to check it
as long
against.
as everyone gives it 3 out of 5.
Yeah, if everyone gives it a 3 out of 5, it'll get 100%. But if it's a really polarizing film, and some people say this is a 5-star movie, and if 25% of people give it a 5-star rating,
that's a freaking good
but
movie.
I don't care how many people, 75% of people give it 2 stars or 2.5 stars. If they rate it down there because they didn't get it, but these people gave it really high, it's still going to get a 25% on Rotten Tomatoes. You're going to see a really low score on that, but you're not going to get this. If you're in that niche group, you're still going to love it. I don't know. That's still kind of a tough thing with that. But like, so 50%.
I didn't know it was like that.
It's just a binary system of positive or negative.
Bunch of ones and zeros.
Yeah, so it's either good or bad. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
I thought it was more like
thing.
the
It's
Amazon
not really
type
like
thing.
how much. No, that stuff will give you, like, if you look at the an IMDb rating on things, that's the averaging of the stars and putting it in the middle of the stars. So it's more of a sliding scale. You got more of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
So it's a little better of a system, I think. But Rotten Tomatoes is kind of popular with that. So when you're looking at that 55%, it's not that 100% of the critics think it's a mid-level film. It's just that 55% of people liked it, 45% of people didn't like it, and to varying degrees therein.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So that's kind of tough. If you could get a movie that, even a better example of this, it's just you look at a movie that people say it's not that great, a little negative of a review, slightly negative review. If everyone gives it that, 0% Rotten Tomatoes. And you're like, but there's some redeeming stuff in there, and it's sad. Whereas in a star rating system, that might get a solid, 2.5 or something, which is still that, or maybe 3. I don't know where the cutoff point on stars or things in, but if it's like just below 3 stars on the average rating, but then it gets a 0 because it would have been that.
I never want to go on Rotten Tomatoes again now.
I don't usually use this anyway. So.
I would look it up quite a bit.
I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't judge it for how I'm gonna like a film, but I like to get the general consensus of what people think. It's just one of those.
It's probably what happened with Cloud
built up.
Atlas.
I think so. People look at that at one thing, but
Because I would have given it 5, and I would have been one of the.
I think Cloud Atlas is one of those films though. It's a polarizing film, and there's a lot of people that don't get it or aren't into that, and it's a tough one.
Now I'm wondering what Brokeback Mountain got.
But I think this one kind of deserves that 55%. When I look at that one, this is one that reminds me of that of, not the amazing great film that's going to get a lot of people going for it, but not a bad film. So it kind of balances there in the middle. And Rotten Tomatoes does kind of work with that in that way. It's good, but I still would have if in a star rating system, I wouldn't put it in the. I mean, a little. I don't know. 55 sounds like when I look at that, thinking of grades, it's like a failing grade, and that's so bad in that. But yeah, I like the characters of this. I like their little schemes. Their tiny plots of getting changed, but then they.
And it's funny too, just to see going back to the difference between America and Canada. They have the toonies and the loonies. The $1, $2 coins, and that's just
so then they can actually make more in their change bust. They're smart with that too. They're getting the coins because they can't be tracked. They don't have the tracking numbers as the bills do, and you don't have to launder them in such a way. You don't have the
Plus, it's who's going to run into a movie theater and break this huge thing of coins, and just the whole way through is just nonstop ghetto-ness. But it's not like. Because I don't really like ghetto, but this isn't these are nice ghetto people more, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know from your ghetto term. Different usage of that.
There's a lot of things that made them, I feel that I would not have liked or enjoyed watching these kinds of people. Or trailer park people be doing these kind, doing things. As much.
In real life?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No.
I
wouldn't want to hang out with these people.
Them, fine.
Yeah, to build off of their characters, and you could have played this with. It doesn't have to be a trailer park. It could be any type of location with that. Just people trying to pay rent and trying to live off of sustain off of what they got.
But this is to me. I've never seen this type of, I guess, ghetto where
Compton Boys,
where they have the hood and he gets the water, scoops it up, and throws some Kool-Aid in it. I wouldn't even thought about that.
I mean, that's like camping. Living on that. Because they don't have running water or anything.
And it's the cut up 2 liters for drinking. Yeah. It's I don't know. Maybe that's another reason I like it. It's just something.
Yet somehow Julian always has. His drink.
That's a running gag too. He
$5 million that's just so weird to me. $5 million.
Oh, where did the money go?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you've got your that's advertising.
Maybe it just
budget.
took a while.
Advertising budget had to have been put into that. Maybe these are the highest paid stars in Canada. I don't know.
Top notch.
I'm wondering where it went.
Because
they're in a trailer.
Yeah. Well,
and that is their set.
It's the same
exact set. It's the same outfits.
So
Randy always has his shirt
they're
off.
They're using cut up 2 liters as cups.
They're bad money managers there.
Something's going, something weird.
No, it's gotta be.
They just had really bad coke habits, and they're just in between scenes.
I think pretty much you've got it in the studio budgets for that. You've got their advertising budget. It's on 200 screens in Canada, which isn't a huge, crazy number of screens.
200?
But if you've got it on 200 screens in 2006, if you're not doing digital projection and you're doing film, you have to make 200 film prints for the movie. And so production costs maybe somewhere in there. And
I'm surprised with only 200 screens.
Yeah, I'm wondering how much got paid for this thing. It's just...
I mean, there's 200 screens in California or more, right?
Probably more than that.
So what are the Jenny Awards? Because
California's a pretty big place.
It got nominated for the Jenny Awards.
The Jenga Awards.
Jenny Awards.
Jenny.
Nominated for Best Motion Picture, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Performance. Wait, what are these crazy awards?
Genie.
Genie Awards. Sorry, Yes, that's better. Genie
Genie.
Award. Located in Toronto, Canada.
This is the 27th. It's like a Genie Awards in general.
Yeah. Canadian Cinema Academy of Television.
The Academy of Canadian Cinema and Television.
Is there big awards?
This is their big awards.
What won that year? 2006?
It's the 27th.
27th, yeah.
The 27th annual. Wait. Oh, Bon Cop, Bad Cop.
Wait.
Good cop, bad cop. But one's from French Canada, and one's from the English-speaking Canada.
Quebec's police officer.
It's,
So Ontario and a Quebec officer come together.
so I guess this is just like the award show for Canada of films made in
Yeah,
of
Because I know
Canadian film.
Canada, they're huge on like the Canadian Pride. The radio stations
Okay.
have to have a certain amount.
Triplets of Belleville, 2005. That's what won their Best Picture. That's actually a film we know. Have you seen that
I don't
one?
know.
I love Triplets of Belleville. It's an animated from
heard of,
French,
like,
from
any
French
of these.
Canada.
That's why I've
There's some
never
other
seen it.
pictures of it here. I recommend that one. That's a good one. So they do have some films that they occasionally get.
Canada. French Canada.
My American Cousin.
So Canadians' best of is like America's worst of.
Well, it's just like this is just the winners of these
Nope.
two. But I
Not seen a single one of those.
wait. William Shatner
Nice.
was in one from 2011.
The poor man.
Oh no, he was the host of the show.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
So yeah, it
What
was
movie?
nominated for best. It was one of the best pictures in Canada. Nominated for best picture in Canada. This
Wow.
movie. This is the pinnacle of their entertainment.
Well, it wasn't. It did not win.
But it was nominated.
It didn't win.
It was nominated. How many films get nominated each year? And best adapted screenplay? Was it? Is it adapted from the TV show? Was it a book before this?
I hope so.
Was it Trailer Park
It was a
Boys, the
novel.
movie, the book?
Canadian novel. Mm-hmm.
This is the nominees. What? I'm gonna get these numbers by it. So we're.
Oh, that's how many
10
nominations they got.
Oh, there you go.
Tideland? How did Tideland not win? It was an awesome movie.
Snowcakes.
There we go. Missing motion picture. Trailer Park.
Okay.
So out of 4.
Oh, out of 5. Yeah,
out of 5,
Out
I'm
of
sorry,
5.
yes.
Out of 5 movies.
So that was their top, the top 5 movies of all time.
Yeah,
That
that
movie,
movie,
or I'm sorry,
that
in
year.
their year, yeah.
Top 5 movies of 2006, Canada.
Wait, yeah,
Trailer Park.
freaking Tideland. Tideland was one of them that was nominated in another category. How did that one? What? Cinematography. That was a good movie.
See, what's funny is that like we act so surprised, but it really is because we're in Los Angeles.
Yes. We kind
If
of
we had like lived anywhere else in the world,
I think we'd have to live in another country though too.
not Europe, not New York,
Yeah.
not Los Angeles,
Not in any of the
we would have been like we would not be
I'm
this
sure-
surprised. I don't think.
I'm sure. I mean, India's got to have their own system for that too. I know England.
Oh,
has
Bollywood,
The,
Bollywood. We couldn't
England
be
has
there
the
either.
BAFTAs. They've got
Couldn't
their
be in Bollywood.
Yeah, it couldn't be in there. They'd have their own system for it too. But Canada has their own. Imagine. I'm sure all the countries have their own
Probably.
thing, and they're watching this.
Mexico?
I remember when I
Yeah.
visited Australia, they had Australia's Got Talent. as a
Yeah,
TV
no,
show.
they've all got those regional things. But
Yeah.
for
That's where they had the blackface on. They got in trouble.
Oh really?
Well, nobody cared in Australia, but the Americans saw the blackface and they're like,
Oh, okay.
So but I don't know the other films that were nominated, but just to say that it's one of the top 5 best movies.
This episode turned into like Canadian
It's
bashing
so weird.
and talking
I
about
can't
Rocky
think-
Mansion.
It's just I didn't laugh out loud once.
Would you think that
You
this
chuckled
would be,
out loud.
Would this be anywhere near the top 5 movies of any year?
Even though I actually did enjoy it, I cannot see it being top 5 of the year.
See, I'm guessing you didn't give it a 5.
No, I didn't give it a 5.
You didn't give it a 3 though.
No, I gave it a 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, yeah, I guess you'd give it a 4 if I were to guess.
Yeah. Mostly just because I really enjoy the characters and watching this series.
Yeah.
Can't believe that. That was just so good.
And they even have a horrible name for their award show. The Genie Awards.
Stupid stuff.
Canada. Canada's doing something wrong. I'm just saying.
Blame Canada.
This is terrible. So what'd you give this movie?
You gave it a 4.
Yeah.
You know, Netflix predicted it right again for me. I've been like, as we've been doing this show, you know, I've been getting myself exposed to like more Netflix stuff, and so I've always noted what it was, the prediction was, and then after like what I thought of it, it's always they're just right on. It's just been so right on, and it's kind of disturbing for me.
Yeah, this one was close too.
But it wanted me. It thought I'd give it a 2.5.
Wow.
And I really would want to give it a 2.5.
2.5.
Yeah, where I was just like, yeah, it was kind of just keeping my interest. I didn't like it, but it was keeping my interests, and so to the point where I don't want to like just dislike it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It said it tells me 3. I tend to agree with that. I mean, it's
appropriate.
That's appropriate. That's what I gave The Hangover.
I'm one of those deciding audience members where my vote counts because
you're right on the
I
fence.
have to put it down.
Oh, it actually says 2.9.
Yeah, I think mine was 4.1.
See?
Yeah.
So
It's pretty close, yeah.
Netflix knows us.
It is.
I
Really
didn't look at the exact. I just noticed.
But it really is amazing.
You're
Like,
going to follow us up with our 2009 film, The Countdown to Liquor Day?
actually, I watched that. It's
You don't
it's not
recommend that
as
one?
good.
Is that not
so
as
if
good
you
as
didn't
this
like
one?
the first one,
It recommends this to me higher.
really?
3 instead of a 2.9.
Actually,
Solid,
really didn't.
solid
I
3.
really didn't laugh at the second one.
Oh.
maybe
I'm surprised if they only made 3.8 million that they made a second one actually,
that they lost.
Well, it took
1.2,
them 3 years, but
or that they lost. Yeah, the 1.2 million.
but it was top 5.
it was one of the top 5 movies. You forget, even though it didn't make a ton of money, it was a huge artistic success.
That's true. I never thought about it like that.
The critical
Yeah.
acclaim with its solid 55% on Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, you can't imagine the juggernaut that is the Trailer Park Boys. I mean, see, all right, Countdown to Liquor Day. What is?
All bashing aside here, I think we've had a good time.
Ivan Reitman pulled out on the second one. He didn't.
What did the
did
second
the
one
thing.
gross? Let's see.
Oh, they spent 6.6 because you couldn't get the same actors for the same money. Of course, they demanded more.
They demanded more.
But it made even less at $3 $3 million. So it didn't even get that 0.8.
And that's Canadian too,
Spent-
right?
Yeah, that's Canadian dollars there. This one didn't even. It
So
says
it's even less.
Yeah.
No, is it?
Well, just the difference. I don't even know. This is so American dollars is what we looked at on this one because it did get.
Yeah.
But the other ones just they couldn't even convert it to American dollars. Forget it. It was just all Canadian money there. Oh. All right.
Well, you know what though? I do.
Yeah,
feel,
all bashing aside,
I do feel if you take the same characters and you had maybe some really good writers, I think it could be really good. The main thing that I enjoyed were the characters.
Yeah. I think the characters were good. I liked some stuff in it.
Not the Office Space guy, not Mike Furr.
Ricky.
No, not
Julian?
Mike Furr.
Julian.
Julian. I thought that could have been better.
Yeah,
I thought his character could have been
his was
better.
kind of flat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thinking about
he
that
actually in the series he has I guess a more interesting role in a lot of the stuff
Okay.
because there's a lot of drama going between him and then the girls and then
Yeah.
the drunk trailer park head guy. He has a huge crush on him and he's always trying to.
Have you watched a lot of the
touch
series? Like the whole thing?
Not the whole thing, but every once in a
There
while.
was a lot of gay tones, like weird.
Yeah,
The way they were kind of portraying him, just the people calling him pretty and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a huge crush on Julian in the series. So they definitely didn't do as much as I thought they
And
were.
then I guess
gonna
people
do.
don't get passed
It
around
was
in
at a-
prison in Canada.
It was at a weird level in there where you didn't know if it
That
was
didn't
like
happen.
how I don't know how comfortable they are with gayness and how this is playing to them.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, because is it one of those
Canada,
things where it's
like-
this huge joke that's always gay, or is it like they're just kind of they're cool and they're just playing
What,
it?
what do Canadians think of gays?
Because kind of a lot of that kind of humor depends on the cultural environment at the
is.
time, and
It was Gay Pride weekend
yeah,
this weekend.
yeah.
I know they contacted me at the Westboro Baptist Church, but I told them I couldn't go.
Too busy, couldn't get down there. Pretty good.
Couldn't fit you in.
So that's so
yeah, and I do want. Now that you mention that, I wonder if Canadians, just being Canadians, would think that this is a lot funnier than normal Americans. You know.
maybe, but it wasn't enough to make back their money. It wasn't that great, I guess, even for them. They need a better money manager over there, so they need to figure this out. They lost money on both of these movies.
Yeah.
That's bad.
What if they're making a third one?
It's gonna cost them $7 million.
But it was top 5. That's good. But it was in Canada. That's bad.
Yeah. It's one of the top 5 movies of the year
That's good.
in Canada.
That's bad.
So next week, I'm having trouble time picking these films. There's so many good ones on Netflix, and there's a film that I wanted to pick earlier that they pulled off, but now it's back on there. So there's 2 I'm trying to choose between. I gave both of them the same rating on Netflix.
Want me to roll the virtual die?
I kind of want you guys to choose this based on this criteria I'm going to give you.
Okay.
One of the films is by a director or directing team that I think is really great that we haven't discussed yet, but is up there to make a lot of solid films. And this is just one choice of theirs that I have that I really like. The other one is probably
that's
more disturbing than Oldboy.
Yay, that one!
But
it's
artistic, and it's harder to get. You have to. There's art you have to get through to understand it. But if you get through the whole movie, I think you'll really like it. But the other one is more accessible.
What a pitch!
Yeah. You want the tough one to grasp. That's
Yes, I want that
insane, or do you want the more accessible, solid one? They're both good though. I can't decide between them. What is yours today?
Let's just go with what Tony said.
one.
All right. So I'm gonna
Which
say
one was the one that got recently put back?
that's this one.
Oh. Is it a foreign film?
It is
From Canada?
It is a foreign
God,
film.
no.
It's a foreign film, Canada. It's one of the best movies of the year in Canada. This one's actually French. It's from 2003. It says 2002 on one. This is weird. But it is called Irreversible. Have you seen or heard of this?
Is it about a car?
Yeah, it's a car that yeah.
It's about
I don't want to spoil it.
About my old
It's
Ford
about your old
Taurus.
car. I don't want to spoil things, but the transmission's busted and it can't go in reverse. He always has to drive forward.
It's a horror film, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a horror film. I'm gonna say
it's a metaphor for everyone's fear of success.
you could read the description on this.
No way.
But I just say go into this one. Play it. Make sure you have time to sit down and watch it.
How long is it?
It's only an hour and a half. He picked the shorter of the 2 films.
Okay.
It's an hour and a half. But I've read read reviews where they're like I tried watching this in the first 10 minutes, I quit, and they're like, no, you have to stick through it. I think halfway through this film, I was already thinking, this is terrible. This is
Challenge,
junk.
Tony.
This is terrible movie. And by the end of the movie, I loved it. So
Challenge.
I'm gonna rewatch this. The first time I watched it. This is a challenge movie. We're gonna watch this one.
And you picked it.
It's called Irreversible. I'm gonna warn everyone out there. If you saw Oldboy and were disgusted by that, you might wanna tune back in 2 weeks. It's just heavy. It is a heavy film. So
I'm very intrigued.
Yeah,
I'm turned on.
So yeah, for those that didn't watch Oldboy though, Oldboy was gruesome. It's a gruesome film. It's very gory. So
this one, I don't know. I don't even remember this was gory. This is going to test your limits.
I love testing limits.
Yeah, but remember, it's a movie.
Sexually.
This is a movie. It's art, and everything that happens in this film is fake. It's not actually happening in the movie. It's studio. This is not a snuff film. It is. Yeah. Remember that when you're watching this. It's
so
not
like
real.
Scooby-Doo, it's not real.
Yes.
What a pitch.
It's not
Yeah,
real.
so it's kind of like
You just keep pitching this film better and better.
I know.
You just gotta stick through it. You just gotta get through it.
If you start to vomit, just make sure you have a bag next to you.
Just make sure you've got the time set there.
Yeah.
It's not a snuff film, I promise.
This is going to get huge ratings next week. We might hit double digits. All right, thank you for watching and listening. See y'all next week.
It sounds like you could almost